Poor Hermit. Really. So we finally got why Hermit is so messed up. Like, just her smile's gone. She's gone from wanting to be friends with humans and other robots to pretty much just wanting to, just live in Digitalis and be away from everybody else and just not wanting to do anything with humans at all right now. What's kind of confusing for me, but I guess it really hasn't really got to the point yet, is the fact that it's only humans. It doesn't seem to be, any other alien races that she's maybe taken some malice towards. But I don't think we've got really much for our other species. I know we've got like those parasites, but I don't think we've got names for something like any of the other aliens that we've seen so far. At least that from what I'm aware of, any canonical naming for the species. But really, it was a pretty grim one. It was pretty sad. So it was 15 years ago, and they're in this research facility. We got all the people that these people that the poor Hermit is with on this planet Newton, which I liked. It was called Newton with all the apples. I thought that was pretty funny. You get a nice little Isaac Newton reference in there. He had the Molar Lab. I feel like that's a reference to something, but I don't really know that one. But they were building what kind of was described as a way to save this planet Hook that was kind of like dying out, which is like this planet where all these machines kind of go and are left on, and they just kind of like are there without purpose. They don't have anything really going on for them. And it just kind of seemed kind of bummed, but they're like, yeah, we're going to build this ether accelerator, and we'll go and we'll shoot a load of ether to provide to their planet, and it'll make everything better from them because their ether supply is starting to get dangerously low, and it's just not looking good for them. Meanwhile, it's like it's back in real time, and the members of Eden Zero are still getting screwed up by the hacker Spider, and doesn't look like they're going to last much longer. It's starting to get to those final moments because we know that each of the people of the four shining stars have a purpose. Sister's the physical like person healer, which is the kind of like ship maintenance, and Hermit is the like the security systems, all the technical kind of like system upkeep. Makes sense. And she's the only one that's going to be able to get the hacker Spider out of their ship, out of their systems. And actually, I thought was really funny. And again, I'm really curious about is with Sister with I can't remember if it's his name is Moscow or Moscow. I've seen it translated both ways. I don't remember the correct official translation. But he goes to touch the button on his stomach, and Sister just yells at him not to touch it again. Which again makes you wonder, what does it do? I'm wondering if it's maybe like a battle mode, or like a self-destruct sequence, or something really wacky. Very curious about that. I think everyone is just kind of like looking at that in the back every time I see him, like, what the fuck does it do? But meanwhile, she goes to talk to Hermit, and we see more of them, after kind of seemingly being friends with all the members of the science team, and helping fix their equations and their system setup for the ether accelerator. And all she really wanted out of it was, to get along with everybody, make some friends with the other races, both robots, humans. Again, this was kind of curious too. Is there wasn't any aliens? I guess we haven't seen any like big alien ran planets. It's really just been humans and robots so far. Maybe that's the majority in the Sakura cosmos. But as back to it, she just kind of seemed happy, like she thought she was doing some good, making some memories and getting along during stuff. And, she's just talking to this robot guy, and they're like, yeah, I'm going to go over to Hook. We're going to put up the receiving ends, and we're going to get to saving Hook, and everyone will be happy. It'll be a big success. Maybe we can help out other planets along the way. And again, it just seemed really nice. And again, like, what was kind of weird and kind of off topic, but I've been wondering how big the planets are in Eden Zero, because they all look to be relatively the same size. Obviously, we haven't got like a chart that compares them, but we can see Hook from orbit actually fall on Newton, and they don't look like kind of like Earth-sized. They kind of always, for at least to me, they look kind of like just big countries, just throughout space. And the fact that you could see Hook probably not that far from Newton, so I feel like it. Maybe we should get some comparable pieces to really look at it, because we don't have anything yet, and it just out of curiosity's sake, because again, it looks more like a moon, but then you see them later, and they look to be around the same size. So obviously, the distance would have to be much smaller. I don't know. It's a little confusing stuff. At least I think so. I might not be thinking properly about perspectives and distances. Either way, it doesn't matter. Not important. Back to it. You know, they get to the final of the day. They're going to do plan number C9. Obviously, that is the name of the chapter. Their 7th time, trying to do this system. And they go and fire the cannon. The cannon goes over. And while they're kind of getting ready, and they're like, sweet, it's all going to work out. And you have all the other robots from the research team that went over to lay out the receivers. And none of them seem to work, and the planet actually ends up exploding. And it was all, in fact, not to save anybody, not to help any planets. They were just building, a really monumental weapon. And I'm wondering if it's going to be relevant later down the line, because now we have a weapon capable of blowing up a planet. Again, that's what I was thinking about, like planet size, because maybe it would depend, maybe it would depend on how big we'll see a planet later on. Like maybe Hook wasn't that big, so even though it destroyed it in this chapter, you get to a different planet, maybe it's a lot bigger. Even if it's shot, it doesn't take out as much. Like, I don't know. I'm just kind of curious at the moment. I feel like right now, until otherwise, just assume it's a planet, of normal, kind of like just guessing, maybe Earth-sized or something. But then sadly, they're just like, all right, let's get rid of the last robot. Let's get rid of Hermit, because we only kept her around in case it failed, and we wanted to keep the useful one alive. And then after that, it was just like, all right, we don't need her anymore. But the other scientist guy's like, you know what, actually be better? Let's just experiment on her and take her apart. And it's just kind of sad. It was just really unfortunate. She got fucked over really badly. And I'm wondering if it's going to be the next chapter, if we're going to see like more of a sad moment of Hermit getting tortured by being taken apart, or if she has a combat mode and just slaughters all these guys. Because I don't know if they're all going to have combat experience or just kind of select setup for whatever their job is on Eden Zero. But it doesn't look fortunate for Herm at all. It looks pretty bumming. Poor gal. Poor little Loli robot. And we only got one more chapter of this arc. So after this next one, it looks like we're going to be getting ready to maybe find Valkyrie or a replacement to Valkyrie. And that means we're not that far off from leaving the soccer cosmos. So curious about that. But that's a conversation for a different chapter. This one, though, it was very bummy. It was just one of those times where you got tricked. And it wasn't, hey, you got tricked and something's going to happen later. It was in the middle of it. We blew up a planet. Thanks. We really appreciate your hard work. We tricked you for, X amount of time to make a super weapon. Very unfortunate for all of them. And I'm hoping, because the next chapter was called Fireworks, so it's probably going to be a much happier chapter. So hopefully see Shiki do what he can to try and fix Hermit's outlook on everything. But he does try and generalize all the humans as with these bad people, but obviously when Shiki and the crew shows him that only some humans are shitty, that maybe they'll feel better and really get back along, because she's obviously at heart a very nice person, very happy and friendly girlbot, fembot, whatever she is. And I don't know. This whole chapter was more of just like, damn, that was a little bit depressing. And I feel like the next chapter will have a lot to talk about, because we'll probably get a really interesting bit from Shiki, especially when Shiki finds out, the whole situation. I think it will be a really nice moment for his character to really give his take on a very serious situation like that. And especially because I'm very curious to know what Shiki's response would be, because so far, out of all the main characters, really, for Hiroshima, Shiki seems the most immature, the most kind of like child soul, and it'll just be kind of interesting to see, what exactly his input on the solution will be. Obviously, he's going to show the raw demonstration of how he feels towards people that are his comrades. He doesn't discriminate towards human, machine, alien, whatever, which will probably put a nice big. A nice little heart back into Hermit. And I hope that goes well for her. Poor kid. But other than that, pretty fun chapter. Well, not fun chapter. Sorry, informative chapter. Sad chapter, and it will be nice, obviously, because it was really nice to see in this chapter and the last one of just seeing like happy hermit stuttering there out of trying not to be like, yes, she got fucked with. No, it was nice to see her smile and like her happy personality, and then you see her now, and it's like, oh, god damn it. So again, like I said, it will be nice in the future to see her smile get fixed. And I'm wondering if she's gonna have like this kind of like switch moments between just being like sad and depressed and just being happy, or we'll just get, you know, the happy hermit back, which will be nice. But other than that, drop a comment below what you thought about this chapter. Again, that was pretty bummy. And it's going to be very satisfying to see Shiki work his magic into fixing her. And then I'd really appreciate if you would thumbs up the video, befriend the like button and the subscribe button, and check out my other videos. But other than that, I appreciate everyone who's already subscribed, and I thank you all for listening. Bye.